Hello, I am SquidofLove. Welcome back to No Man's Sky, where we continue our journey trying to discover cool planets and species and of course everything that No Man's Sky has to offer us. I have finally redeemed my pre-ordered bonus. It's the Omega Horizon ship, and its main difference from the starter ship was the one extra slot. It has 16, one more than the 15 if I remember correctly from the starter ship, and a hyperdrive. It comes equipped with a hyperdrive, which I guess can be quite useful if you're just starting the game. My goal and my first priority in No Man's Sky was to start expanding my inventory on my exosuit, Starship and multi-tool, in general upgrading my gear so I could carry more, so I could get more upgrades for the different equipment I am using, such as the life support, the protection, the hazard protection, my weapons on the Starship. As you have seen, at that moment I was sitting at 23 inventory slots on my exosuit. I am right now a little over 30. It is quite easy to discover exosuit upgrades. They are all over the place you're visiting. I have found many planets with a ton of exosuit upgrades. It is really easy, but you have to spend some time on the planets. So, the best way to upgrade, the best way to find upgrades is to visit buildings. In there you can find a lot of information about different points of interest around the planets you are visiting at any given moment. And of course you can also talk with these very friendly aliens, the Korvax. The more you learn from their language, the easier it is for you to communicate with them, the easier it is to answer correctly on one of their questions, and of course that gives you a lot more opportunities to gain something valuable as a reward. A new word, learn a new word, or just get a new blueprint for your starship, for your exosuit, for your multi-tool. It is really helpful to discover as many other words as possible, as fast as possible. And at this very moment I realize how huge this race is. The Korvax are really big, are really huge. They are much taller than whatever race is our character, than whatever we are. And it hadn't occurred to me before. It was quite a surprising fact. But either way, let's continue exploring around this building, this outpost, and of course get out of here and start taking a look at various points of interest where we can find technology, new technology for our gear, and of course progress in the game. A very good way to upgrade your multi-tool is by taking a look at these multi-tools inside buildings. Some are good, some are not so good, and I am currently looking for a very nice opportunity to gain a new multi-tool. Of course, the number one priority of my upgrades is the Starship. This is what is very important. Get a new Starship, and of course in order to get a new Starship you will have to buy a new one. In order to buy a new one you will have to make some money. Visiting space stations, visiting outposts, and taking a look at these trading interfaces is the only way to make some good money. It is also very important to discover new blueprints that will allow you to craft very valuable items that will help you in your journey. The warp cell is very important if you want to have absolutely no problem traveling from one system to another and continue your journey. But of course other items as well, such as the antimatter and the electron viper, which are necessary if you want to create a warp cell and jump to the next system. It's not very hard. The more you play the game, the more chances you have to discover one of these blueprints. So if you just keep enjoying exploring around, eventually you will come across one of these important blueprints. Like I said, my number one priority was to upgrade my Starship, and the best way to do it is by buying a new one at a space station or a trading outpost. But there are crashed Starships out there, so you can take a look if you find them. I have the coordinates of one of these crashed ships, and this is what we are gonna do right now. Take a good look at it, check it, and compare it with the one I have. If it's good, we could always repair it and take it out there for a ride, make it our main Starship. Unfortunately, it was not very good, so I prefer to not repair it. Obviously, I was not going to waste any resources on a Starship that it wasn't much better than the one I had at that moment. There are some really good starships out there, and this is also another great way to upgrade your starship. Find one that has much better equipment, a lot more inventory slots, and make it your main starship. Continue your journey with this one. Unfortunately, this was not the case. But it really doesn't matter, there are plenty of abandoned starships, of crashed starships out there, so eventually it will be possible to find a good one, and much better than the one you have at the moment. This one was slightly better, but still not that much better, so again I decided not to waste any resources on repairing this new starship. There are so many planets, more than 18 quintillion planets out there, and that means that there can be a lot of these crashed starships out there waiting for us to discover them. I'm really positive that eventually I will find the starship of my dreams, if I haven't bought it first on a space station, that is. Before buying a new starship, it will be nice though to know what kind of price I will have to pay, and the best way to check the prices of these starships, to check what kind of starship interests you the most, the easier thing you can do is visit the space station. There are like starship exhibitions. If you stay in there, if you stay in the hangar and wait for starships to come and land, you are going to see a lot of different types. And this is really gonna help you. You will see what kind of slots they have, what kind of price they are asking from you. Visiting a space station is very good, not only to sell your items and make a lot of money, but also take a look at these new starships. So let's take a look on this one. Let's see how many slots does it have and what is the price for this kind of starship. It is really interesting. It's like browsing a library of starships. Only 18 slots and the price is quite cheap at 402k units. There are much better starships, and I decided to wait for one of these much better starships, but that means that we are going to need a lot of units. Let's take a look on this one instead. It is not the best looking ship, but it has 25 slots and the price is quite expensive, 1.8. There are more expensive ships out there for sure, with much better inventory, weapons and general equipment. This has better shields. It is definitely not the best looking spaceship. One thing is for sure, if we really want to upgrade our starship, the best thing to do is gather a lot of units, and the best way to gather a lot of units is find viable materials, and this is what we are going to do right now. Get out of the space station and find a place that is rich on materials. As I was approaching my next destination, this is where pirates attacked me, and this was pretty much my very first space fight in No Man's Sky. And it was also quite obvious that I really need to upgrade my equipment. I really need to get a better starship. I know there are some upgrades that will give you more shield, better shield, and I was really thankful I had enough oxides with me to replenish the shield during this fight. It was a bit unresponsive. This Omega ship wasn't very good for fighting. This is really why I need to upgrade my gear, I need to upgrade my starship, get a much better starship and give it a lot of helpful upgrades. Upgrade the weapons, upgrade the shields, upgrade pretty much everything. I know that there are upgrades for the engine that will give my ship better maneuverability, and I think it is very needed, much needed if you want to survive out there. The whole battle, the whole combat went that way, with me replenishing my shields, and I'm really happy, like I said, to have oxides with me. I don't think I would have survived if I didn't have the oxides. It was an interesting experience, having my very first combat like this. It was good to know what to expect from space combats in general, and of course to take a look at what kind of upgrades I should perform on my new starship when I buy it. Dealing with the pirates gave me the opportunity to continue my journey and continue exploring the system it was at that moment, and I was lucky enough to find a barren planet rich on gold and copper. In general, barren planets are very good if you are looking to stash materials and sell them for profit, and although gold is not the most valuable material you can find, I would prefer the emerald anytime. It is quite viable and you can make a lot of money if you gather a lot of it. This planet, like I said, was full of gold. I decided to focus on gold and ignore copper for obvious reason, the price of the material. In general, barren planets are great for making a lot of money and gather materials and selling them later on a space station or a trading outpost if the price is right. After spending some time on this planet, I gathered quite nice amount of gold, enough gold to sell on the space station in the system and make a good amount of money, of units. Of course, this wasn't enough to make me super rich, but it earned me around 500k units. I could have waited, I could have tried to discover another space station and sell the gold for much better price, but I was a bit in a hurry, my inventory was full, I wanted to get rid of it as fast as possible, and the price was decent. 490k units, almost 500k units, were quite good. I was really happy with the price. I sold pretty much everything else and went on browsing more ships. This was really what I was focusing on at the moment. I really wanted to find a new ship and upgrade my existing one, get a much better opportunity in the game to progress and have more inventory that will allow me to carry more items that I can later sell for more money. And this one over here looked perfect. It was very good, 24 slots and a lot of great upgrades on the warp drive, on the weapons. But of course it was expensive and I didn't have enough money to buy it at the moment. I would have bought it, to be honest. I would have bought it. It's not the best, the looks is not the best in the game. I want ships, I like ships that look like fighters, more like fighters, like this one over here. But I will have bought it because it will have given me the opportunity to gather more resources, to carry more materials and make more money in the long run. One of the aspects of No Man's Sky I really enjoy is underwater exploration. It is quite relaxing. There are so many beautiful sites underwater in planets that have water and you can explore. And of course you can discover new species, new plants. It is very interesting. It is currently one of my favorite parts of the game, performing underwater exploration. It is very much like there are a lot of different worlds in the planets you are visiting. It is like visiting a whole new world in the same planet. I know there are some upgrades that will allow you to stay longer in water, to stay longer underwater and perform this very interesting activity, and I really want to find one of these upgrades that will give me the opportunity to perform more of underwater exploration. There are plenty of interesting locations underwater and there are some planets that have more water than land. Definitely one of my favorite activities in No Man's Sky at the moment. It is very interesting and I really enjoy discovering what the oceans in No Man's Sky have to offer. Enough time spent on that system, time to move on, and after taking a quick look on the galaxy map trying to discover a new interesting location, I have decided not to follow the route that will lead me to the center of the galaxy yet. I realized that in order to visit some of the stars, I will have to upgrade my warp drive. So this is one more reason for me to buy a new starship, perform upgrades on it, and be able to visit every location in the galaxy without having any real problem. Eventually I jumped into a random new system and apparently a whole new area, because to my surprise I encountered a whole new alien race, the Vy'keen. I was getting quite familiar and known among Korvax, but I guess now we will have to spend some time to learn more about this very interesting new race. Leaving comments on my No Man's Sky videos will also give you the opportunity to win a silver face in-game. Thank you very much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I am SquidofLove and I will see you next time. Bye bye.